Here we go. Welcome to Double Dribble Bucks. This is Seth. With me, as always, is my good friend Brett. How you doing tonight, Brett?
I'm depressed, Seth. I feel like it's over, and I finally am like the rest of the world, and I'm depressed. And I feel like hopefully this is an event where we can try to have some optimism for the future for everybody, but it is bleak. You know, I feel like I'm pretty positive most of the time, and especially after today and the last couple games, I kind of am losing the faith. I think this season might officially be over.
Yes, yeah. I think we're finally admitting that we're willing to admit that finally. Yeah. We're maybe some of the last ones to do that. I think in the text the other day, I think I mentioned that to you. With a cry face. It's one of my favorite emojis. The streaming down tears.
I like that one a lot too. I like that one, and I like the crazy guy, like weird eyes and like tongue out and like. It could mean probably like, oh my god, it's awesome. Like I don't even know what it's for, but it's like I like it. The younger generation's probably telling us we're all using them wrong anay, so like whatever.
Yeah, they're past emojis, probably. I'm sure. Right. So okay, yeah, it's definitely been a rough season, and I think we're definitely to the point where, you know, they're not even going to make the playoffs at this point. They're 4 or 5 games back from the play-in. Something I wouldn't think was imaginable to start the season. I was picking them to win 50 games.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were wrong, and Vegas and all the national analysts were wrong too, but they were wrong the other way. The Bucks are even worse than everybody was saying. So it is a little bit depressing, but maybe we can talk ourselves into next season. So maybe we can get into that a little bit.
I like it.
And I read an article from The Athletic that was pretty much it was an Eric Nehm article, and it was kind of criticizing Doc's lineup changes without really criticizing it, but it really had that attitude to it. It's kind of like asking obvious questions, like what's happening here? But yeah, it was bringing up some of the things he's done. Like he didn't play Kuzma a game. I think it was over the past couple of weeks. Just a DNP, no reason. He was asked about it. He was like, I just felt we should go in that direction. Another game he finished with Sims for 17 straight minutes, even though Turner was playing well that game. We've seen a lot of Sims. You know, sometimes in wins, sometimes it looks good. More Sims and less Turner. But that was, 17 straight minutes for a center. It's kind of weird in the first place. But Turner was playing well, and the plus-minus of that game was Turner was like plus 10 and Sims was minus 2. Anyway, just kind of weird stuff, which is not that surprising. Doc lineups, we've talked about it for 2 years now. It's 2-3 years. It's always kind of baffling. But anyway, the article ended saying, no matter how many changes are made in the offseason, some of the players on the roster will be back with the team next season. As an organization, the Bucks need to figure out who they want to prioritize, which combinations need minutes together, and whose development matters most. So rather than continuing to criticize Doc Rivers for 10 minutes, maybe let's answer that question. Who should the Bucks prioritize for these last 17, 18 games?
So before I get into it, I will say that I think Doc is such an old school guy that he didn't play Kuzma for the weird pass that he had the game before. If you haven't seen the clip, it's like, or if you don't remember the play.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of like he just freaked out in the moment, and it just lost. It happens. It's not a big deal, but Doc just seems like the type of guy to be like, whoa, yeah, you should just sit a game. It's such a stupid reason. I 100% believe that's probably what happened. So, but guess. To your question, I literally asked Ashley tonight, I go, who are the top 5 Bucks that you would keep? So naturally she responded with Giannis and Thanasis because she's in love with Thanasis. But she realistically it was Rollins, KPJ, AJ Green, and then she said Bobby initially because she's a big Bobby fan. How could you not be? But then I said, well, I think I'd probably keep Turner. I think that he's got a lot he could still give. And she's like, oh shit, I totally forgot about him. That's the guy. But the reality is you look at this roster and it's in the middle of the season, you don't see big holes. They're all development guys. They all have possibilities. There's things that they could do. But then when you watch tonight, you're just like, what a shitty roster. I don't even know what's going. Torian Prince looked great for stretches tonight. And it was like,
I know.
Oh my God.
It's not a good sign.
That's terrible. Yeah, exactly. The more you watch it, it's like, we'll probably get into this, but Turner just doesn't look like a fit again. He kind of looks like the Damian Lillard type thing where it's like you got the guy and he doesn't fit. And it's like, I don't want to keep going back to this, but it's got to be Doc is just a terrible coach. He just doesn't know what to do with these guys. And case in point, it's like you're playing guys for longer than they should be. You're making these weird lineup choices. I mean, when he makes a lineup change, he's only going about 8 deep, typically, is what we've kind of looked at. I don't know the specific stats to it, but it's like, I don't really understand what you're doing. But, okay, let's legitimately think about guys that we want back next year. I like Jericho in the sense that he's young. He's a tall, athletic big. And he seems to be pretty cheap. So,
yep.
Okay, I'd be all right with that. I'd be furious if you get rid of Rollins. I'd be furious if you get rid of Green, even though Green had a bad year. I think even though statistics might look one way, he just kind of fell off the last couple of games. His shot was something was off with him. But it's like, I'm willing to write that off. I want him back. Like, I'm totally fine with it. KPJ, I do like him. I think he's a good playmaker. I worry that he's the ball hog. I think it was 2 or 3 games ago. He had the ball and Giannis was trailing. And I think anybody that's watched the Bucks long enough and knows Giannis is expecting you to give him the ball to dunk it. And KPJ took it. And Giannis kind of gave him a look like, okay. And he went in, so it's like you can't be that mad. But like Taurean Prince, unless he's coming in at the cheapest deal possible, I mean, he does have some aspects of his game. He reminds me a little bit of Ersan Ilyasova in the fact that, like, you didn't want that guy on your team, but when he had moments, you'd be like, all right, like, I kind of see what you're doing. As long as you're paying very little money for the guy and don't overplay his
charges
minutes.
all the time.
Yeah,
right?
all the time. Like, that guy was awesome.
I want that guy. I want him on the Bucks now.
Yes, 100%. But I don't want Gary Trent Jr. back. I don't want Cam Thomas back. I don't want Gary Harris Jr. back. There's a laundry list of guys you don't want back. But I
have a question for you with those guys. So Gary Trent Jr., Gary Harris, we'll throw Taurean Prince in there as well. All those 3 guys are on the vet min and have a player option. So if they pick up the player option, are you waiving 1 or 2 or 3 of them? I mean, probably not 3, but maybe there's one of those 3 that you'd waive, or like, how would you play it?
I'd waive Harris first. I feel like he didn't really do anything. Like, I was kind of expecting him to be a AJ Jr. in the sense that, like, come in, play 8 to 10 minutes, get slightly hot, but that's it. Like, I don't need you to play more. And it was like, I don't even know what he was doing out there half the time. It's like, I never saw him get hot. I never saw him play good defense. He was just kind of like a guy out there. He was a jag, so to speak, just another guy. I would take a shot on Gary Trent Jr. in the hopes that the guy's like had a down year to realize, like, look, I might be out of this league if I don't step it up. Like, I'm on a great opportunity. There's being the guy on the Bucks the way he has every opportunity to step up, and he just hasn't done it. So I would take that shot and see what happens. Taurean Prince is a different animal because I don't love him. I don't hate him as much as you do. I think he has somewhat of a veteran presence. He's kind of I don't know. He's a guy that I don't hate being on the team. I hate that he's playing as much as he does, though. So I guess I would rank it as Harris number 1. He could just go, period. I don't need him on here. I'd probably get rid of Prince second in the hopes that Trent can pull it around. Because you saw, like, Malik Beasley got hot as a 3-point shooter. We've had a lot of guys come in and out that can do that, and I think there's still potential there. So I think that's how I'd rank him. How about you?
I'd rank him in that order as well. I guess a little bit depending on how you build your roster, but, assuming that you are finding another guy or two who can play the 3. And I don't even love Taurean Prince at 3. I kind of like Taurean Prince as a small 4 if you play him. But I mean, the roster the Bucks had this year, there was just nobody who could play the three, and we had a lot of small guards. And
yes.
So, you know, if you had that roster, I guess I'd say I'd take Prince over Gary Trent Jr. But kind of rebuilding the end of the bench, I'd rather have Gary Trent Jr. because he has been good at times. He can shoot. It just seems like he's more likely to really help this team win games. While Taurean Prince is just a guy. Like he can play. Again, at the end of the bench, I'm fine with him. I hate how much he played. You know, it's just like he shouldn't be playing that much. He definitely shouldn't be a starter. So I was so negative towards him, but I don't really hate the guy.
Yeah.
And Gary Harris, he wasn't bad, but he was more of kind of just what's he doing? He's not doing much. He played solid defense, which a lot of guys weren't doing. So that was good, but really nothing else. It's just like, and he's older. It's just like, why keep that guy?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he's
get
older.
The new coach who's going to play Ajax instead.
Yeah, exactly. He's older. He hasn't really done anything. And exactly my point I was about to bring up is Ajax. It's like, I don't think any of these guys are showing anything that's better than a young Ajax that has had games that have proven things. And it's like, the whole idea of a young guy like him is to play him and see if he can develop and like learn some of the things that he's missing. But it's like he makes a single mistake and he's gone. And it's like, come on, man. Like, I don't even like, I'd almost rather see Thanasis out there bringing the energy of the team.
Yep.
Like, he's an NBA player. He's way better at basketball than 90% of the population. But in the NBA, he's probably not that great of a guy, but he brings energy. He gets like in people's faces. Like, he's the type of guy I want out there when the team is down on themselves. But you have Taurean Prince, it seems like he has no voice. Gary Trent definitely has no voice. And Gary Harris Jr. is negative voice. Like, I can't imagine him even saying a word. Like, so it's like, I'm just shocked at kind of what's happening here. And I agree. I don't want to spend the whole time talking about how much Doc sucks. We've said it 1,000 times, but like, you need a coach that's going to play these young guys and develop and do something here.
Yeah. And it's like, he doesn't understand players' roles or that players can have roles, right. Like Thanasis can be that guy who's going to go in and give you energy and foul, have like 3 fouls in 2 minutes, but maybe some games maybe call for that. If someone's dominating, like, go out, put him on Bam Adebayo when he's got 50 points or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's situations where you'd think Thanasis would be able to play actual minutes, not just the last 2 minutes. And I don't think it happened one time all season. And the same is obvious. The same is way more obvious for Ajax, where there's situations where like, we need to get some energy in this game. We need defense. Like, what's going on? No one can play defense. Like, there were a lot of games where you'd throw up your hands and be like, is anyone playing tonight? What's going on? And why not one time is he just like going to the bench and just being like, that's it. We're pulling these guys who normally would be playing, but they're playing so poorly that I'm going to pull them. He never, ever does that.
I think of like, we both played grade school basketball. 7th and 8th grade basketball, the height of our athletic ability in basketball as far as like, team sports. And it was always funny. And I bring this up because like the coach, I don't feel did a ton when I was playing. It was kind of just like setting the lineup and stuff like that. But even a grade school coach knows when someone doesn't have it. And they're like, you're out and you play the guy at the end of the bench. Maybe he's got a spark. Maybe he does something. But I don't understand the NBA game plan of giving 5 guys 30 seconds of playing time. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand what's the point? Like, you play an 8th grader for 30 seconds. You play the team manager. You play the whatever the special story is with someone for 30 seconds in a game, but you don't play an actual NBA player making millions of dollars for 30 seconds. I don't understand that. Like, to your point, like, why aren't you trying it? What's the harm? Like, these guys are professional basketball players. And it's funny because I just saw this clip. I don't know if you saw it, but Ronnie went to the G League and looked like LeBron, just draining threes and making guys look like fools. But he comes in the NBA game and he's just not there yet. So it's like, these guys can play and they're really good. The fact that you're still coaching like you're in 7th grade is just like, I don't understand it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely frustrating. But about Ajax, they have a team option on Ajax for only $2.4 million. I mean, I feel like they're not going to pick him up, but if they're going in a different direction with the coach, which we all hope and seems very obvious that they should, I wonder what like Horst is thinking about Ajax. Like, does he see potential? Does he I want that for $2.4 million. I want him on the bench. Hopefully a new coach like really unlocks what he can do. Or do you think the Bucks are done with him?
I think they're going to sign him. I think Horst likes him. I think Horst is very, very much like, I've said it before, he's kind of like a Moneyball guy. Like, I'm going to give you the guys and make you do something with it. And Doc just doesn't do it. He's exactly from the movie. He's Philip Seymour Hoffman. I'm an old guy. I know what I'm doing. Like, don't bother me. I'm going to play it this way. So I think they're going to, 2.4 in the NBA is very small. They like the guy, great defender. He's had great moments. He started in the league. I feel like you got to take a shot on him. Along those lines, though, I have a question for you. Just thought of this. We've talked about this before. Do you think we would be better GMs or coaches for the Bucks if it was like a 2-person deal? Awesome. What do you think we'd be better at?
Well, wow. Probably GM.
So, okay, I'll put it this way. So we're the GM, and we keep Doc, or we're the coach, and we keep Horst. Yeah,
oh my
there
gosh.
you go.
That is difficult. I think you have to get Doc out of the equation.
Right, yeah.
That's whatever that is the better option, I would say. I talk about lineups a lot, and to the coach's credit, like, you're in a game. I think it's it is difficult to decide who's going in and out at specific times, and then after the fact, we're like, this guy only played 13 minutes. What the heck? Like, okay, it's not always so easy,
right?
But at the same time, there's lots of lineups and lots of things being done over and over and over again. It's not just like one time in like one game he totally messed it up. So yeah, I feel like on the lineup stuff, I like that. I like that. But in terms of coaching basketball, like, hey, this is how you play defense. I don't think I'm qualified for that.
Well, in professional sports, we don't have to do the whole job. You got defensive coordinators.
Oh, you know what? You're right. We got like 15 guys on the bench.
Yeah, we're good.
They can all do that.
We just have to be like, put AJ in again. And they'd be like, seriously? And we're like, yeah, do it. Just do it.
Yes.
Ajax, not AJ. Sorry. Just to clarify.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you also mentioned KPJ, kind of getting into the details here. So he's got a player option, $5.4 million. I think we would hope he takes it. That'd be great. If he doesn't take it, it's actually kind of interesting. Like, I don't know what his value is, but what would you put the value at for the Bucks? Like, what's your max that you'd want to pay KPJ?
I think the player option at 5 and change is the max I'd play right now, because it's like, don't forget, this guy's only 2 years ish removed from like kind of being a pariah in the league. Like, he wasn't playing. Like, he was all the potential, wasn't playing. I think he'd be foolish if he turned it down, because it's like, all right, best case scenario is you're the backup point guard for Minnesota. Honestly, I think that potentially is where he could go. And it's like, you could start for Milwaukee if you put in the time and you work on your game and you do all these things. It is wide open for you to be the starting point guard, and you're going to compete with Rollins, who's a G League guy that's got a lot of potential. But if you really step up your game, like, you should be able to feel like you could fight him. But if you go to another team, you're just the backup. Like, I don't know where he's going to start unless he goes to some absolute shithole to try to start. But like, I don't know that he's got skill sets to like carry a team. So I don't know. He hasn't proven enough for me to earn any more money than that option. $5 million, that's about as high as I would go, and I think he would get less anywhere else, and he'd be a backup. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, it is kind of tough because, he's definitely had great moments. His numbers, I don't have them in front of me, but I think they're pretty decent. Just looking at numbers like points per game and that kind of stuff. Like, I think he has more assists than Rollins. It seems like.
Yeah,
he's actually a pretty good
that.
rebounder. That's probably the hardest part for the current Bucks is like losing a guard who can rebound. But he also is just so inconsistent, and there's just some games where he's a big negative, and like you said, the ball kind of sticks. He dribbles too much. However, he's had a record number of dribbles. So there are some negatives, and it's kind of a question of like, how do the Bucks want to play as a team? Does it work for that? My thought is he should lead the second unit. Like him starting over Rollins to me is a mistake that Doc is making. Rollins is the solid player, the solid defender who, sure, he has inconsistent, there's games where he's not hitting his shots, but I don't think he's as much of a negative when he's not doing as well because he has less usage.
Yeah.
And KPJ can like take over a game. I mean, he could be kind of an ideal six man, like a Malik Monk type of a player. Mm-hmm. While Ryan Rollins isn't really that guy. Again, he's more of just kind of a solid player, like a starter. Like to me that's how I would play it. Like Rollins is the starter. Obviously, we're bringing him back. We're only paying him $4 million. He's on an amazing contract. Like you better not trade that. And then KPJ is like leading the second unit, and maybe he wins the starting job at some point. I mean, you're never gonna say that's not possible. And of course, he probably wants that, and if he plays well enough, then that'll happen. But as of now, that's how I would play it. So in terms of like looking at next season, what should the Bucks be doing? That's what I would want them to do. Now, if KPJ opts out, yeah, I don't think I'd want to pay much more than that. I probably would be fine paying $6, $7, $8 million. I don't know where I draw the line. Yeah. Probably less than $10 million, I guess. And I'm really curious on what other teams would pay him.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like the thing is, like NBA contracts are so hard to like understand because like if someone's going to pay me $5 million to do anything, I'm going to probably do it. But like it's like, well, I'll give you 5 but not 6. Like but you're right. That's the thing. Like KPJ would be an ideal 6-man, and that's the thing that like I as you were saying that I was thinking of guys like Naz Reid in Minnesota. I don't know why I have Minnesota on the brain, but like he's not a starter, but he's a fantastic 6-man that comes in.
Yeah.
Different position obviously, but like that energy and like when you have that starting unit come off for foul trouble or just rest or something like that, having someone come in that doesn't skip a beat, and it's like, all right, yeah, you have Rollins that starts, which is, I agree 100%. Like you need to have Rollins and Green, Giannis and Turner, and figure out who you're going to put in that third.
Yep.
Or the 3 spot. But when anybody goes down or out, I should say, having KPJ, you could have KPJ with Rollins. You could have KPJ replace Rollins. You could have KPJ instead of Green. I mean, you have very much flexibility. And we've talked about this before. Like, I don't understand what's necessary in a starter. Like, do you get more money? Is it just pride? Something like that. If he's okay with his role, like, that's what you should be diving into. And I'm sorry, like, it's a Bucks podcast, but why would you not want to play with Giannis? Any opportunity you could get.
Yeah. I mean, if you're making $5 million, like, you shouldn't be expecting to be a starter.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you're Myles Turner, you're getting 25, 30 million, maybe, I understand maybe having that expectation, and like you're only playing 15 minutes in a game. You're like, what's going on here? Like, that makes more sense. You're getting paid $5 million. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Like, I don't see why, just cause you played well at the end of last season or whatever. But yeah, I would guess he's not going to take that. Then he's going to test the market. But I don't know. I'm pretty curious as to what's going to happen there. While these other guys we've named, I think they're probably picking up their options. Gary Trent Jr., Gary Harris, Taurean Prince, Jericho Sims. That's actually kind of another curious one. $2.8 million. I mean, I don't think he gets paid much.
I can't imagine.
If he's like a free agent. So I kind of expect him to be back, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. We haven't mentioned Ousmane Dieng, who we traded for. His contract just ends. He's a free agent. I don't know if we have bird rights or whatever the rules are. I think it must have been his rookie contract, so I do think we have, like, he's probably a restricted free agent, I would guess. But
I would think.
Unfortunately, I did not look that up. Either way, I mean, I think you definitely want to resign. I think he's shown enough where you want to keep him. Like, let's continue developing this guy. He's barely played NBA basketball in like 4 years. It's like, let's give him his second contract and see what happens. And I feel like he's not going to get paid much, right? He's going to get the minimum, I assume.
I would think so. And I think, like, you know, with our faux lineup there, like, he could be the 3 just on paper. Be like, all right, this is our starting lineup. And it's like, make improvements around that. But, like, I don't know, Rollins, Green, Jang, Giannis, and Turner, like, that's pretty solid. Like, I don't think a lot of people would look at that and be like, that's a piece of shit. But it depends how the bench goes. It depends what he thinks he is. I mean, there's a lot of guys like, I think I mentioned this before. I think we've both mentioned it before, but Bobby Portis, you know, drafted within the top 20 picks. I don't remember where he went, to Chicago. Goes to New York, expected to be a starter, doesn't really live up to the hype. Comes to Milwaukee and realizes, like, I just need to play basketball, and I need to be a guy that can come in and play. I don't need the extra shit. Like, I don't need, like, the fact that he told Kyle Kuzma, you come to Milwaukee and you play basketball. Like, stop worrying about what you look like and stop worrying about your whatever, because nobody gives a shit, because you come in, you play, and you go home. That attitude is the type of thing that I'm hoping a lot of guys have, but, like, I don't know. I mean, it's impossible to know what anyone's thinking. They all want to make their money, and they should. Like, they all think, you know, here's the thing. If someone's paying me multi-million-dollars a year, I'm going to try to hold out as long as I possibly can. But I feel like I'm smart enough to know that if that job doesn't work, I could get another job. But I think NBA players look at it like, if this job doesn't work, I might be dead on the street. Like, you have no other skill. You can't do anything at all. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
We'll go back to the Jason Tatum commercial where he's like, I'm building generational wealth. Okay, well, you know what? Your job isn't to make sure your great-great-grandkids can, like, live for free. Like, calm down. Like, you want to live a great life and you want your kids to live a great life. And if you have a little extra money, your grandkids could live a great life. That's great. But, like, you're not a Rockefeller guy. Calm down. Like, just chill off for a second. Like, I don't know what you're doing here.
They're building empires. LeBron is.
Yes, so.
Yeah. Well, so, yeah, you were saying that about Jang, that he's going to get paid a lot.
No, I'm saying he should give it a shot to be a potential starter on the Bucks. But
okay.
He's young enough that I wouldn't be surprised if he tests the market and think he's worth, you know, whatever. I mean, great example is Gary Trent Jr. Thought he was going to make $19 to $25 million a year. Ends up signing with the Bucks for a lot less than that.
Yeah.
Comes back on a contract for a lot less than that.
Yeah.
It's like, look, we're giving you, if you come to Milwaukee, you have every opportunity to earn a spot if you just fucking play. Rollins should not be on this team, but he stepped up and he showed that he could play. Green should not be on the team, but he stepped up and showed he could play. Do the same thing. Take a small contract and earn the big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what do you think about another one of those, potentially one of those guys? Pete Nance. Do you sign him?
I do like Pete Nance. If we can get him for a decent contract, I like him. I want to build up these young guys. I've had no problem with Pete Nance's game. He's got a lot of development he's got to do. But, yeah, take a shot. I mean, if you can get him for under $5 million, that's like how you build a roster, right? Like a bunch of guys that – I mean, we used to pick on the Pacers because you'd look at this lineup and be like, who the fuck are these guys? Like, I don't even know who they are. But they were all ballers, and they didn't make a lot of money, and you could play Siakam and Halliburton a lot of money because these other guys were stepping up. And, yeah, after a while, they eventually left and things like that. But why can't we do that with the Bucks? Be a bunch of guys that are making $4 to $6 million, come in, get lots of playing time, lots of opportunity to show yourself, and you're either going to be developed into the guy that the Bucks like, and they're going to give you a big contract to stay and start and whatever, or you're going to show somebody else that you're great, and they're going to give a shot to you. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why I would just go anywhere else. I mean, you're in Milwaukee playing with one of the best players in the league. Like, I think it's worth giving it a shot every possible chance you can. I mean, what are you going to do? Go to Washington or go to fucking, I mean, name a place where it's just like dead man's land. You're just going to go there and just make money and suck and nobody gives a shit. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, well, I like Pete Nance because he does some of the things that no one else on the team has been doing, which is like, provide energy, play solid defense. I guess mainly it's like those energy plays, and he plays with intelligence out there. He makes good passes. So he's really kind of like a breath of fresh air when he comes in. It's like, all right, Pete Nance, like, why don't we see more of this guy?
Right. Yes.
And I don't think he's ever going to be this, like, a starter. I don't see that potential in him, but he could be a really good role player, and right now he could be a good role player. So you have to find some cheap guys who are going to contribute and play. And they've actually done a decent job of that with, like, Ryan Rollins, $4 million. That's amazing. But you're paying Giannis $60 million. What are you paying him? $58 million. You're paying Myles Turner $26.5 million, and you're still paying Dame $20 million. So, you don't have a ton left over. So you got Bobby's getting $14.5. AJ Green's getting $10 million next year. He only got $2.5 this year. So there's really not much left. It's mostly small minimum contracts or small contracts. Then you have, maybe one or two. So you have like Kuzma at $20 million, Bobby Portis at $14.5. So maybe you trade, if you trade Bobby, you're getting the same contract back or something similar. Kuzma is the more interesting one because he's expiring. And so teams might, depending on their situation, they might like that, And Kuzma actually did have a good year. Like, I think he was actually a pretty good player this year. Maybe not worth $20 million, but with the right role, the right coach, like, I like his attitude. Like, he's not like a losing player. I kind of thought he was a losing player when we got him. That was like the reputation he had. But seeing how he carries himself and how he plays, like, I don't think he is. I think he actually has a good attitude. And if he's coached correctly, I think he's coachable also, maybe in addition to that. And it's just, we're just asking way too much of him. Like, he's not – the numbers, I think I have it down here. So Giannis in the starting lineup, obviously, it's a great starting lineup. It's the most played lineup. Turner, Giannis, Green, KPJ, Rollins. It's plus 13.6 on the season. So it's good. It's not like the best in the league, but, it's a good, positive lineup. Like, we could win with that lineup. Okay, the fourth most played lineup is when Giannis is out and Kuzma is in for Giannis. So that lineup, except Kuzma, it's minus 16.9. It's a 30.5 point difference just switching Giannis and Kuzma. And they've both played a decent amount of minutes. Again, it was the first and fourth most played lineup this season. So, again, there's, maybe that's saying something negative about Kuzma, but my main point is that we're asking too much of him. Like, he shouldn't be starting. He should be a spot rotation guy coming in, playing 15, 20 minutes, or, whatever each game. Maybe it varies. If he's hitting all the threes, keep him in, whatever. But just not a guy who's starting and not a guy that you're relying on to, like, create offense and, like, save your team, basically. Where he was, he can't be your top three guy. He's like a number 6, 7, 8 in your rotation. Like, that's where he should be. Really, like 7, 8.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I said this before too. Like, when he went to LA, he was trying to prove that he belonged, and he had a great year or two or whatever it was. And then Washington, being Washington, like, thought he was like the next star, and it was too much pressure, and that's not his game, and he didn't work. So he comes to Milwaukee, and you just nailed it. It's like he needs to play just a few minutes, and there's flashes of him where it seems like he truly cares, and we know he can put up 30 points a game if he needs to. Defense needs a little help from time to time, but it's like I don't feel like a lot of Bucks fans are disappointed in Kyle Kuzma except for the contract. Like, the contract, it's like, if the guy's making $6 million, you'd be like, I would definitely want him back. Like, I don't think he'd be pissed. But the problem is, to your point, like, he's not being coached well. And you need to be in a situation where, like, you have to understand what your role is. And I think he was kind of finding his groove, and then, Doc keeps messing it up again, because it's like, Kuzma is not a starter, but he's not like the worst guy on the team. He's, you nailed it. 10 to 12 minutes a game and have a role and come in and do what you want to do. And I would bring him back for a lot less than he's making. I just don't know how realistic that is. I think he's the type of guy who's on a really interesting point of his career where it's like, yeah, you made $20+ million a year. Is that your floor now? Or do you want to take a chance and play with a good team and kind of understand? I don't know. That's going to be on him to figure out what he wants to do. But I have to say, I don't know. I wasn't upset that he was on the Bucks this year at all. I think there was flashes where it was like, yeah, I'm fine with him being on there. I hated how much we were paying him. If he was making $5 million, I don't think I'd complain at all.
Yeah. Yeah, but so going into next season, I think the Bucks should do whatever, like they should really be trying to trade him this offseason.
Yes, of course.
Because with $20 million, you're trying to find a legit player in return. And so maybe you got to package him with someone like, I don't know, but he's not, it hasn't worked out well here. Again, we kind of like him this season, but it doesn't make sense that you're paying that guy $20 million and he's going to be like an important part of the Bucks making like a late playoff run. Like that just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Right. So I think you try to get off. That's the number one guy I see looking to trade and hopefully making that happen. And again, I have some hope because he was pretty good this season. And, I think maybe some teams saw that and see the positives and maybe would take a chance again on an expiring contract too. So I think there's some hope that can happen because if you carry him into next season, yeah, you can always trade him before the deadline, but it just, which I'm sure you would try to do. I mean, if we can't trade him, then that's the backup plan, I guess. But, eventually if you never trade him, then it's just gone and you get nothing. It's like, it'd be better to get something for this guy.
Kuzma, I was just telling Ashley that like when I watched the Phoenix game, I said, I kind of miss Grayson Allen. And she's like, really? And I said, well, hold on. Like, I don't really miss Grayson Allen, but he was a good offensive player. He brought a lot of energy. Like having him on your own team, you kind of took like a little bit of all right, maybe he's not a flopping and maybe he's not as dirty because obviously he's on the team that I'm rooting for, but like he brought that energy that was like very young Pat Connaughton. And I felt like Kuzma was doing everything but the energy, if that makes sense. Like he had the skill set to do a lot of these things, but like he wasn't that flash off the bench. Like it was just kind of like another guy coming off the bench. And it was like, I 100% agree, move on. Hopefully someone has a chance and can do whatever they want. I mean, I've turned around. I'm a little more rooting for Kyle Kuzma to have a decent career somewhere, wherever he ends up going. I don't hate him as much as I used to, but I really miss that. Like, I wanted him to be more Grayson Allen in the sense of come in and play your game, but also bring energy because we loved Pat Connaughton taking an elbow to the face and flying for a rebound and doing that stuff. And he Grayson Allen, that's what he was doing. Like he was always in the shit. And we didn't have that this year. We had nobody that did that. I mean, Kuzma could have been that guy. He wasn't at all. I don't know that anybody was that guy. I don't remember anybody, even when Bobby would be mouthing off to somebody, who was there to back him up? Nobody. There was nobody. They were just all watching. Like, that was stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll get into a little bit with like pace and kind of what the Bucks expected and what happened. But before I get to that, let's finish this conversation off. We haven't mentioned Cam Thomas. What are you doing with him? He's just a free agent.
He's gone.
He better be gone.
Yeah,
he better be gone. Although he's playing the end of the game tonight against the Heat for no reason. He played 10 minutes, and then Doc's like, let's throw him in at the end of the. Maybe he's trying to lose, to his credit. I mean, kind of good to lose at this point.
I kind of feel like Doc has like a thing that's like, if you last 4 years, we'll give you like $100 million. Like, just last this long, and we'll get it through. And so he's like trying to get fired, and they're not firing him, and because like. Seriously, like I watch the Bucks local broadcast all the time. They won't say anything bad about Doc ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Yeah. And it's like, okay, Lisa Byington, Marcus Johnson, I know he sucks. I know that he's making terrible decisions. And you won't say a word. And it's like, something's getting to
Wes
you.
Matthews was halfway there tonight, I would say.
A little bit. He was a little closer. But
they were giving up transition in the first half. Like I forget what it was. Like gave up a lot of transition points, and they weren't getting back on defense. And Wes Matthews was like, you have to. I think Lisa Byington was like, well, when would you change your strategy? Wes Matthews like right now, guys got to be yelling like, get back, get on your guy. I got him. Like build your wall.
Yeah,
he was like he was like obviously frustrated that the Bucks were so bad, and it seemed to me that it was like, internally he was like, what is going on with the coaches?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Wes Matthews is kind of turned around for me. I used to kind of make fun of him, and it was like, I should, and he should get it because it's like, it's kind of your first year doing it. Like you should get made fun of a lot. Like you're just, you have the same phrase and stuff like that. But like, I think what bothers me is like Marcus Johnson has zero filter. And I think that's the reason people love him. It's like, here's Marcus Johnson. He's going to say whatever is on the top of his mind. Like he could have a little thing that pops up and he's like, let me just talk about this random fact for a while. But at no point could you look at it and be like, that's a shitty move by Doc or a terrible challenge. Or I never saw that all year. And it was like, that's the frustrating part of the whole thing. It's like, if you can't speak up, what's the point of this whole thing? Like that's the whole point. I think of like the journalist, non-journalist relationship. The journalist should be able to say whatever they want, good or bad, and you could debate them, but like don't silence it. Like speak up. Doc, you suck. That was a stupid play call. What an idiot. Like, I don't know. I just never got any of that.
Yeah. I they did put up the stats one time that I can remember about his challenges and like how bad he was with challenges. But that should have been like once, halfway through the season, like every single time there was a challenge, like that should have been mentioned. Like
what was the challenge tonight? How do you challenge in the first quarter a stupid first foul on Bobby Portis? Like, why are you even doing that? What's the point?
Yeah, it's like just there's no just who cares about that one?
Yeah, who cares exactly?
And then at the end of it, like, so many games, he didn't use it, and it's like the end of the game, fourth quarter, like 3 minutes left. Like this is kind of a turning point. Doesn't use it. Doesn't.
And those are the points that like Lisa or Marcus or Wes would be like, oh, that's clearly the Bucks baller. That's clearly blah, blah, blah. And you just look at Doc and he's got his thumb up his ass being like, I'm not even considering it. It's like, it's the most obvious one in the world to win. And you're just sitting there. You have 30 seconds left. What are you waiting for? Use the challenge.
I think maybe he must. My assumption is because once you're in the fourth quarter, I think he's probably waiting till like the last 10, 20, 30 seconds. Because there's been a lot of times where it's like 5 minutes, 3 minutes, in a clutch situation, but not the very end of the game. And it's like, why are you not doing this? I think like he's waiting, like just in case we need it, like at the buzzer beater.
I would agree with that until you look at today.
Well, that's the other way.
You get 6 minutes into the game and you're like, use it, my one chance right now. And the stupidest thing, he reminds me of The Office, Michael Scott, who learns if I don't use my challenge, I get a $5,000 bonus at every game. So I won't use my challenge. I'll collect that extra $5,000 because I'd rather earn that than actually win the game. Like that's the type of mentality he's got.
Yeah, definitely. So, one thing that we both were saying here, and it's just like, should we, the answer is Doc Rivers, but we are both saying that the Bucks should come back next year with 4 of the 5 starters that they have this year.
Yeah.
Giannis, Turner, Rollins, Green. Are we like just, homers, like not so biased? We don't know. We're so blinded by our own team and we're just like, we can win a championship anytime. Or is the coaching that bad? Or like what's going on here? Do they just need a small forward who can play and really kind of fit the pieces together better?
I mean, obviously we're correct all the time. But I mean, yes, we are also homers. I mean, the thing is like, we talked about this at the beginning of the year. This lineup should work. It really should have from the beginning. It's like you have dominant Giannis, you have Turner coming in, you have AJ shooting at a very high percentage, you got Rollins and KPJ that can make these moves, and these other guys can come in and just whatever. And the thing fell apart. It like everybody else saw it except us. So there's definitely a part of us being homers, but I don't know. I don't think many people could convince me that those 4 people aren't worth staying. I get the Turner aspect. I don't know what people expected from Turner, but I know it wasn't really what we saw this year. It just seemed like he was out of position. Didn't seem like he was a tough guy. Didn't seem like, I mean, he wasn't good at shooting threes as compared to Brook. He wasn't as good of a defender as he was with Brook. He wasn't as athletic as he is with Jericho Sims. So a lot of people could look at it and be like, what are we paying this guy for? But the reality is like, there's so much more of the game he brings. I just feel like we didn't get it that first year. So I'm willing to give Turner that extra shot because I do think he's a good player. I think he will fit. And I like AJ Green and I like Ryan Rollins. I think most people would bend over backwards to get either one of those guys, especially on the contract they have. So, like, I don't know. I think it'd be absolutely foolish if you didn't have your starting lineup involve those 4 guys. So there is some homership there, but I also think we are 100% right. Those 4 guys do have to stay, and I think we're dead on.
We are. Well, some evidence that we might be dead on is the starting lineup with KPJ as that 5th guy has been good. Like I mentioned, it's been the most played lineup this year, and it's a plus 13.6. It's a good lineup. And if you replace KPJ with a small forward, and then you have AJ Green playing shooting guard, not small forward, there's, I think, potential there for it to be even better of a lineup. And then you have a good player, KPJ, coming off the bench, like we talked about. Now your bench lineups are hopefully better. Like it, just 1 or 2 more solid guys who are good players, who know their role with a coach, making sense of everything. I think like it's not as far away as it seems. You know, I mean, yeah, you're not even making the playoffs. So it's like, oh, you're not even close. You're so far away. But I don't think that's true. I think you can make the right moves here and there and make a big leap. You know, in addition to, you know, Giannis not being hurt for 25 games or whatever, that helps too. But yeah, we didn't have a small forward. We haven't had a small forward since Chris Middleton. Like that's really the number one issue. We talked about it a month or 2 ago. If you can solve that, you know, Ousmane Dieng being that guy would be amazing. I'd say unlikely, but it's possible. He's young. He's shown something. That would be a miracle if he just kind of just rises to be this like awesome player. So that's like option 1. That's great. Option 2 is, you know, trading Kuzma and a piece here or there and getting someone. I don't know who's available or just a trade, you know, somehow making it happen. But you need a small forward who can rebound and play defense. Like you don't need a guy who comes in and is like Cam Thomas. That is the last thing you need. You need a defense, rebounding 3 who can also score. You need to do everything. But I think the emphasis is on defense and rebounding.
It's 100%. I mean, Lisa said it today. There was the guy, white guard, I want to say Vucevic, but that's like the name of like 90% of the foreign players in the NBA right now, so who knows what I'm talking about. But the best part was like Lisa goes, this guy just made another 3. Because that was what it was. It was like, who is this fucking guy? It's just this guy is going off tonight. Like, that's the biggest thing. It's like the defense sucked. And the fact that Doc is always like, oh, the defense. You are the worst defensive coach I may have ever seen because, like, holy shit. Like, Adrian Griffin was giving up 130 points a game, but at least he was winning. You're giving up 98 and we're getting blown out. Like, holy shit. Like, you are terrible. But, like, yeah, the defense was bad. I mean, there was, like, I watched the Badger game, Nate. I don't know if you saw that. But they, at the very end of the game, it's a 2-point game, which never should have got that way. And Greg Gard pulled up, like, a fantastic full-court press play. It was amazing. It was really well run. I haven't seen a play like that from Doc all season. And I really expect to see some sort of defensive anything. But there was, like, I felt so many games, guys were out of position, and it was stupid stuff. I mean, I've said this before, but I feel like since Doc's been there, the ball handling has been terrible. So many turnovers of just, like, crappy dribbling, crappy passes. But like, how many times have I been watching a game and Ashley will just shout out, "He's wide open. Anybody want to guard him?" Like, it happens every game at least 5 times. And it's like, if you have a good number 3 that can play defense and do some of these rebounds, like, that shouldn't be a problem. But every game this year was some guy, some random dude who would just go off. And I think back to the games where Boston had Peyton Pritchard, and before Peyton Pritchard was really kind of like a more of a well-known guy, but he was the guy where it'd be like, who the fuck is Peyton Pritchard launching threes on us all game and just crushing us? And that's the thing. It's like, there's nobody on the team. Like, I give a lot of credit for AJ Green playing defense. He tries as hard. He got his ass kicked today. He's hit his head. Hopefully it's just a concussion, but he's trying. But how many times are we going to have guys just wide open for a 3? And it's the NBA. Of course they're going to make it. Like, I don't even understand that.
Yeah, no, the defense. That, I mean, I definitely think that's a lot of coaching. It's, some of it's like a Cam Thomas just is notoriously bad, and they're going to make mistakes. I think Kuzma is just kind of, I think he's overhelps. I could see him overhelping no matter what the coach says and just kind of making mistakes. I mean, Kuzma, I think, can be a solid defender at times, but at the same time, he kind of make dumb mistakes. So some of it is personnel, but I mean, a lot of it's coaching. I mean, what are they, 26th in defense? They're the 5th worst team in the NBA on the defensive end. That's
terrible.
That's not good. Okay. And they were a top defense, 3-4 years ago, I guess, before Adrian Griffin. That's why Adrian Griffin, that's why it was so like, something that the executives couldn't even deal with. They're like, we got to fire this guy because it was so dramatic of a shift in terms of defense. We were used to being a top 10, top 5 defensive team, and then we're like 25th or whatever we were when Adrian Griffin got fired. Even though we were 30-13, you can just imagine it now. 30-13, and you fire your coach, and we were like for it. It's just crazy how 2 years later, like how
and
quickly
I feel like
things
one
change.
time this year we were 13-30, probably.
We might have been. We probably,
probably just seems like a thing. It probably happened.
It does. Okay, well, I did want to talk about Myles Turner a little bit. We did have a request from one of our many listeners out there. So yeah, I looked into it a little bit. You had mentioned it. There's a lot of talk about Turner kind of not doing as well as everyone has expected. And I don't know how much blame is on him for the season. I haven't necessarily heard that, but he definitely, it's part of that, part of the blame, and not worth $26 million, not working out, kind of in a, not different, but kind of similar where like Damian Lillard came and it wasn't working out, and it's like, why is it not working out? Well, one aspect of that, I think it's a little overhyped, and I think it's a little bit of a lot of people didn't have the right expectations. Anyone that's complaining about rebounding, I think just didn't know what they were talking about, I guess is maybe where I'm starting, my starting point. And looking at Turner's stats, he actually, it seemed to me like he really, because I didn't like watch him and play in Indiana every game. Like I watched him on the Bucks. So I can't say for sure. But looking at the statistics, it seems like he really made a mental shift in his game to be more perimeter oriented last season. Because on a number of stats, it kind of shows that was happening. So he had less 2-point attempts and more 3-point attempts. He had less offensive rebounds, and he had less free throws. And overall, his usage was less. And so all of that went down last year compared to 2 years ago. We all know last year the Pacers went to Game 7 of the finals. So him playing that way was not bad. Okay, it was probably a positive for the Pacers. And so I think that's important to realize, that he played this way last year. That's who we traded for, And with Giannis on the court, you kind of want that. Like, maybe you might completely change your strategy, but most people would agree with the strategy of getting a center that's going to spread the court and be able to shoot threes, kind of like Brook Lopez. We basically replaced Brook Lopez with a younger, more athletic Brook Lopez who can actually shoot better 3-pointers. So that is an upgrade. for sure. I don't know. I haven't really heard talk that we'd rather have Lopez here, but at the very least, Turner is a better Brook Lopez for now, for the age that they're at.
Yeah.
But I will give some, there is also something there, though, where he's kind of even expanding that role more this year. It's kind of more significant. His twos are down even more. He's taking more threes, which is probably what we wanted him to do. He's rebounding a little bit less free throws from last year. So, you don't want to see those numbers continue to go in those directions. I mean, he is a center. Like, he should get some rebounds. You'd like him to be more physical and get some free throws, get fouled, put some pressure on the defense. So I do want to see more of that, but this is the way that he was trending. And it also does make sense with playing next to Giannis that I'm not too surprised that those numbers were exaggerated a little bit. He's probably on the perimeter more in Milwaukee than he was in Indiana. And I'm not sure that's his fault. And so that kind of makes sense. So the other side of it, which is hard to find statistics for, is defense. So that's maybe more of an eye test situation. There's certain games where it has been frustrating, and there's certain games where he's looked great. He is getting 2 blocks per 36, 2.1 blocks per 36. So it's less than he used to get, but it's not that much down from last year. I think he had 2.5 last year. So again, his numbers aren't all that worse compared to last year. And even his minutes played, I mean, he's getting 27 minutes a game. It's not like he's not playing. The past 10 games, I didn't look, I think he's getting less minutes. So that's a more recent thing. Season as a whole, like he's been out there, he's had his opportunities, he's been a starter all season. So I think some of the talk I think is just wrong, and just kind of like, the whole team sucks at rebounding, and it's just like a big frustration. And you're looking at your center and you're like, why aren't you getting more rebounds? We were hearing that about Brook Lopez, for years actually. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's really kind of the same complaints, just continuing, but that is who we traded for. He is a center shooting 39% from 3, and he takes 5.5 a game or something. Yeah, 5.5 a game. Like, that's pretty awesome. And that is, should be helpful for Giannis to drive to the rim, which he does every single play. So it's like, you can't have everything. Okay, you're not going to get Sims and Turner together. That's not happening. Right. It's just like, you can't have that. That doesn't even really exist, because you can't be in the paint and at the three-point line at the same time. So, I think people need to shift their expectations a little bit. At the same time, I do want to see Turner be more physical. I feel like when we played against the Pacers, I feel like he had that physical presence, and I don't really see it here. There's something about this season with the Bucks where we're just not getting the best of these guys, And so, of course, we're going to blame Doc, but whoever we're going to blame, it's a team. Maybe it's just a chemistry thing. It's something's going on, and I feel like there's more to be extracted from Turner, and I think a lot of it's intangible and not really going to be seen in the numbers here. So I guess I'm optimistic for him with a new coach and a better culture. And at the same time, I'm saying it's not as bad as people are making it sound.
Yeah, I mean, that was great. I have very little to counterpoint that, and I'll try to remember it all. But, like, number one, I think, Doc is a all-time winning coach, top 10 all-time. I mean, he clearly knows what he's doing. He's not a total moron. But I think the problem that we think he's a total moron is he's an older coach. I mean, like, he just doesn't fit in he doesn't have, like, the mindset to be a game changer. He can't see beyond something. He thinks, like, I'll bring Turner in and he'll be a Brook Lopez. Well, that's not really the same type of guy. I mean, Brook Lopez was a top 10 guy that played the majority of his first 10 years right on the rim, just like any other center you've ever seen. Then he comes to Milwaukee, and all of a sudden he's got a three-point game, and he's stretching the floor, and it's totally different. And Brook was the type of guy, you wouldn't be surprised if he had 6 to 10 blocks in a game. But Turner, 3 blocks a game is pretty good. I mean, I don't even know the stats. I'm sure you could look it up, but I feel like Wemby's got like 5. Oh, so it's not like it's like crazy. Like the top shot blocker is not like double digits, you know?
No, 1.6 a game's pretty good. He
Yeah.
had two. He's kind of around 2 a game. I guess 5 years ago he was at 3 plus. But yeah,
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is, I do agree that, like, the physicality, though, is a huge deal. I definitely agree that when you watch, like, Indiana, especially when you saw them in the playoffs, it's the same thing as, like, when you watch, like, a home game on FanDuel, the game just seems a little slower. The energy seems a little bit less than when it's on primetime. I don't know why it is, but it just seems a little more like it's definitely your local station. It's definitely a bunch of local people. And it's every team. It's not just the Bucks, but believe me, we've seen enough other games that it's that's the way it is. But it's the same thing. It's like Turner. You see him in the run that Indiana had, and you're like, why isn't he that guy? Well, he's not necessarily not that guy. It's just it's just the way it is, I guess. And so, like, I don't know. I think, like, number one, Doc is not a new coach. He's going to stick with what works. I understand why it would be. I mean, you don't get top 10 of wins all time by changing things. You have to go with what works. But the current NBA just doesn't seem to work that way. Myles Turner is not going to be Dennis Rodman. He's not going to be Hakeem Olajuwon. He's not this unbelievable defensive player or rebounder that's going to take over. And I think the thing that's, like, kind of really hit with me is, Violet is into basketball. She loves playing basketball. She plays 21 at recess every week or every day. And so we try to get her to watch a game. She doesn't watch it, but she'll be like, watch maybe 5 minutes. And she's like, so who's the rebounder? And I go, what do you mean? She's like, who on the team is the rebounder? And I go, I don't understand. She's like, well, when I play, I'm the rebounder. And I said, okay, well, like, are you the center or the four? She goes, I rebound. I go, all right, that's like what a 9-year-old should be looking at. Like, who on the team is the rebounder? And as simple as that is, it's like, I don't know. I don't know on the Bucks who's the rebounder. I really don't. Like, there's no guy that's the guy getting the rebounds. And that might be as simple as it is we're in a league where it's like the center should be able to shoot threes because that changes stuff. But we're also missing the big piece of who the fuck's getting the rebound. If you have the center out there and you have your other guy flying on the floor because his game is either go for the hoop and throw it out or try to get it, you got a bunch of 6'4" guys. Like, they're not going to do anything. Like, there's got to be something there.
I think that's why his numbers with Giannis. I mean, okay, his numbers with Giannis are good because Giannis is out there. I mean, okay, that's a big part of it. But also, Giannis being out there, Giannis is the center, essentially. I mean, he could easily be playing center, if you know what I mean.
100%.
And he's 6'11" and physical. Like, okay, and he gets a lot of rebounds. I don't have his numbers, but he's probably the number one rebounder for the Bucks, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
But that actually makes a lot of sense, though. Giannis goes off the court. Yeah, Turner's still playing Turner's game. He's still shooting threes. He's still, rolling to the 3-point line with Ryan Rollins, as opposed to like Sims, who's going to look for the alley-oop. So anyway, you got that going. Like, who's in for him? So I guess you have Bobby Portis, maybe, but he's shorter and smaller and less physical than Giannis. It's whoever is in there.
I mean, especially lately, he's been on fire on offense, but he's not a defensive guy.
No,
at all.
He's not.
Yeah,
but I mean, he can get rebounds, but he's not a rebounder. He's not the rebounder.
He's not the rebounder.
And honestly, Giannis really isn't either.
No,
because I think he's conserving his energy a lot of times out there, and he's. I mean, I've seen it a number of times. Understandably, like, it takes a lot of energy to do that, and then he's going the other way. It's like, I mean, can he do everything all the time and play 36 minutes or something? It's like, they're humans. They can't do everything. So
right.
I can see why I can see why Giannis is not, the best at boxing out every single possession, But these other guys, okay, if Pete Nance is in the game, he should be boxing out like his career depends on it, and he is. Okay, but who's not? Right. You know what? Bobby Portis is not. And Kyle Kuzma isn't always. And, so some of these guys, especially the lower tier guys, it's just like, if you're not doing this, like, you shouldn't be out there. If you're not like giving it your all, maybe someone beats you, okay, fine. But if you're just letting the guy go by you, like Cam Thomas continually is doing, maybe you shouldn't be playing. What does Doc Rivers think about that? He talks about it. He said something to that effect, but then he's got Cam Thomas out there at the end of the game. So it's like, you just said this after the last game about like earning time by playing defense. Like, what the hell? It makes no sense.
Well, you talk about like the position, and that's a huge thing because it's like, when you're watching a game, you think of like, where are these guys fitting, right? So you think of like Michael Jordan, the greatest player ever, is a shooting guard, right? He played great defense. He wasn't like the leading rebounder every game. He wasn't the leading shot blocker. He played great defense. He was an offensive great guy. You look at Kobe, just like Michael Jordan. Great offensive guy, can make any shot, great defense. That's what he did. When you start thinking of like who are the greatest centers, you start being like, all right, well, Shaq, Hakeem, Wilt, Kareem, those types of guys, like right by the rim. Then you start going like, all right, let's pull it back. Let's go to power forward. You start thinking of Tim Duncan. Think of Moses Malone, Karl Malone, Charles Barkley. You don't think of a Giannis because nobody has been a Giannis. Even Jokic, put him best center, power forward. I don't know how you're gonna do it. He's at the basket, but the reason they like him is he's a great assist guy. He's got the best hands of any center you've ever seen. The guy knows where everybody is. Nobody is seeing a guy that should be center running at you with everything he's got, because I guarantee anybody listening to this, if you saw that guy coming at you, I mean, do you really think you do anything? I don't even know what you do. Ersan Ilyasova, who takes all the charges, I think would be a little afraid of the guy coming at him. You know,
that's a good test. I want to see that.
That would be great. But it's like, I think that's the problem. It's like, the game has changed so much, but it's so hard to understand. I don't know who Myles Turner should be. Is Myles Turner the next? I don't know. Myles Turner's Myles Turner. He doesn't fit anything. Giannis doesn't fit anything. Rollins and AJ Green and those guys, they fit something you've seen before. But these other guys, it's so hard to understand. And I think that's the problem I come back to again with Doc. Doc's never seen it either. He's got, you got the best out of Kevin Garnett, but Giannis and Kevin Garnett are not even close to the same guy. Like, it's just, they don't play the same game. So I don't know. I think it just makes it just extra difficult to understand like how good these guys are and where they should be playing.
Yeah, and to that point, maybe it's difficult to play with Giannis. Yeah, maybe it's actually 100%. Like Damian Lillard comes in, never totally figured it out. Myles Turner first year, it's not it's not working overall as a team, and and there's kind of been things here and there this season with like not complaints, but like Giannis had that tangent that he went on about other players, and it was like we weren't sure who he was talking about,
Amir Coffey,
and so it's just
obviously.
like I wonder how much chemistry issues there are, and like I don't think Giannis even knows the answers to it, and again, everything comes back to coaching. Like, you really need a coach to be able to talk to Giannis about like what he needs to do, about what he needs to change, about how he can be a better teammate. Because this year of all years, I think Giannis is too much trying to like put the team on his back and kind of not being a great teammate as time, not playing great team basketball sometimes. And when the ball's sticking, sometimes it's Giannis's fault. I mean, he's just, demands the ball, and then he dribbles, then he runs into four people. And look, it works too often where it's hard to say don't do that. But overall, that's probably not helping the team, especially obviously when you're not winning games. But you're not getting your teammates into it, and you're not getting into a rhythm. And it just, honestly, also the isolation ball is not like the best points per possession, just period. So there's lots of reasons to it, but I wonder, some of these guys, like, and we're talking about Turner, like, he just doesn't know where to go sometimes, maybe. And it's just like weird. Like, how do I play with this guy? I mean, he played with Pascal Siakam, but that's a different player. It's definitely not a Giannis. And it's just like, it takes time. But I think more than time, I think it takes coaching. And like, we need a coach who understands where these pieces can fit. I don't think it's that easy.
Yeah, I mean, I think like, think of some of the greatest coaches you've had. You had like Greg Popovich is on the top of the list because he was able to take David Robinson with Tim Duncan, make that work really well. And then he was able to coach Kawhi Leonard, Wemby. Like, he's the guy that's like, I don't give a shit that you have every bit of talent. This is how we play, and I'm going to get in your face. Pat Riley, Phil Jackson, those types of guys. Like, you even look at Miami a little bit where LeBron was like, hey, I'm LeBron. This is what I want to do. And Pat Riley was like, Eric Spoelstra is the guy I want instead of you. And it was like, I don't think a lot of people were that upset about it. It's like, yeah, I kind of would rather have Eric Spoelstra. But, it's like they just don't really understand what to be doing with those things. And I don't think Doc has the voice to do those things. And I think there is something to Giannis maybe not being the best teammate in the sense of like, he's such a unique player. You don't know what to do. You have to like, it's imagine if you are a bunch of G League guys and you're being called up to play with LeBron. You're not going to play that well together. You're going to be like, oh my God, it's LeBron. And I feel like that's what's happening. And it's going to be somebody on that team. I don't care if it's the coach or a player, has to be like, look, Giannis, you're awesome. We understand that. But don't start doing this stupid shit. Do this and do that. And get in his face and say, look, you're not the only guy that can do something. And be able to like run that, because we've talked about this before. Giannis doesn't have the voice to be the guy to know that. And it's not his fault. I don't know that Jordan and Kobe and all these guys had that voice all the time. They had great coaches that could be able to say and do those types of things. So like, you have to find what works. And I don't know what the answer is. I mean, like you said, Dame, that didn't work. Myles Turner, it doesn't seem like it's working. I feel like there's potential there, but like, I don't know if it's a coach or a player thing or what, but there is something that's just like messing with the vibe, because like it goes to the trade scenario we talked about before. Or let's say you're anti-Giannis, which we all know we're not. You and I are very big Giannis fans, Bucks fans, of course. But let's say you're just a random GM and you're looking at this thing and be like, all right, I got Giannis, unbelievable talent, but nobody has been able to play with him. He's hurt. He seems to do everything himself. How that can continue? Like, you have to start looking at these things of like, not just the next year, but year 1, 2, 3, whatever it's going to be. And I don't know how many people have that ability to look at it and say, this is what's going to work. I mean, you look at, I think the one of the best case scenarios right now is Missoula in Boston. We talked about this before, but nobody expected Boston to be what they are.
Yeah.
And Jaylen Brown is, I think, definitely take a big step up. And Derek White has gotten better over the last 3 years. Peyton Pritchard, all these guys have gotten better. But I don't know. I would not take a lot from Missoula being able to make this stuff work with the right guys, knowing what they need to do. There's no like, yeah, everybody knows Jaylen Brown is the best guy on the team. But is every game knowing that he's going to be the best guy? No, that's coaching. That's making sure like, we know you can take over the game, but we're not going to force feed this game to you. Like, if you're hot, you're hot. And I think it goes back to even the last 2 coaches. We've had moments where so-and-so is hot and the coach makes the decision to pull him. It's the infamous, I don't know if it was Griffin. I want to say it was Griffin, but he pulled Bobby to play Grayson Allen. It may have been Bud. And Bobby's like, hold on. I'm 5 for 5. I got 25 points this quarter. And the other guy's like, yeah, but Grayson is hotter. And he's like, what are you talking about, man? Like, I'm on fire. Why are you taking me out? Like, if anything, play them both. But like, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. But coaching is still the end all be all of this whole thing.
Yeah. And actually, tonight there was a moment. There was a minute left in the game. The Bucks were down 3. And Giannis dribbles up and just pulls up and shoots a 3. Yes,
that was horrible.
That's not your game. So it's just like picking your spots, And so when he's running into 4 guys over and over and over, it's just like there's certain times where, like, at least as a viewer, where you're like, "What do you do? Why are you doing that? Like, this is not the time to do that. And like I'm saying that about Giannis. I don't remember really thinking that much in previous years. Mm-hmm. Or when he would take a three, it would be like, all right, you kind of deserve it. Like, you can do this if you want, you know. You get a couple of games, just not when there's 1 minute left and you're down 3.
Yeah, that was so ridiculous. I'm glad you brought that up because I saw that and I go, come on, man. Of all the times you're going to take a 3, like that was such a stupid decision.
Yeah, I mean, we're the best 3-point shooting team, and it's not because of Giannis. It's like, you got a lot of guys on this team who can shoot. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not the guy to do this right now. I know you're open. You're always open for 3. Anytime
always open. It's always going to be there.
So again, we've mentioned it a few times this season where there's I want to put some pressure, some blame on Giannis, and I'm hoping, and he's the kind of guy who's going to accept a challenge. Like, I feel like this losing season to him, I wonder how much of it is he wants to come back to Milwaukee just to prove like that this is just a one-time thing. Like, this isn't who he is. This isn't who we are. Like, Milwaukee, I can do this in Milwaukee. Like, he already said that about winning a championship in Milwaukee. And now I feel like maybe it's back to that, being like, no, I don't have to go somewhere else. Like, I can do it in Milwaukee, even after this season. I kind of feel like that's where his mindset is.
I think that was fantastic. What an awesome take, because like part of you wants Giannis to be like not to go political, but like Trump. If somebody like says something opposite of Trump and he's like, you're a terrible reporter. Like, you suck. You're the worst person ever. But I think that's with Giannis. Like, I kind of want people in the summer to be like, so this last season makes it show that you aren't that good and you're declining and you can't make everybody like that great. He'd be like, whoa, what'd you just say? Like, I feel like Giannis does have that fire. He has that little bit of Kobe mentality, because Kobe Bryant is the type of guy that if you would have said that, he'd be like, I mean, look at Kobe Bryant, his 5th ring. Everyone was like, well, you can't win without Shaq. He goes, I'm going to show you I can win without Shaq. Like, that's my mission in life, is to now show you I can win without Shaq. And I feel like Giannis does have that. I feel like, show him that he can't win. Tell him that to his face that he's washed up or it's not going to happen. I kind of want that. I think that's such an awesome thing that you just said, because like, if he doesn't do that, then let him go, because then he's lost the fire of everything you need from him. But I hope that happens. I kind of hope they challenge him, and I think he could step up.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. That's maybe a good place to end it. I did want to get into some talk about pace and transition, but I'm just going to copy that note, save it for next time. So probably we'll hit it next time. Yeah, I think that was good. Hopefully the Bucks play a lot of young guys and look good but lose games. Is that what we want?
I think that is. I think, like, James mentioned it, we should be losing, but I kind of like the mentality of at least we're trying. I don't want to watch like nothing. It's like people on Twitter have said, the Bucks may have given up, but I'm not giving up on them. Like, I'm still going to watch the games, but I want to be able to watch and be like, I'm watching at least them trying to some point. Yeah. Like the game I missed against Orlando when Giannis was out. Like, I'm so glad I didn't see that game. They lost by like 7,000 points because apparently they were just horrible. But, if we have a game like today where it's like, hey, you lost, but you tried, you had opportunities, like, all right, keep losing, but try some shit. That's fine.
Yeah, to come full circle, our first question tonight was, who should the Bucks prioritize over these last 17, 18 games? Number 1 on my list is Zhang, and he only played 13 minutes tonight.
Yeah, he was barely in this game, yeah.
Negative 24 plus minus, but it's like, just play him. Are you trying to win? Like, yeah. I guess he's trying. I'm not even sure what's happening, but
what does Doc need to be playing Taurean Prince as much as he did? Like, I understand you're back from neck surgery, but shouldn't you be less because of that? Like, I don't.
He's not on.
He's playing him more. Like, he's playing more. I don't understand it.
Yeah. More Zhang, more Nance, and will we see Andre Jackson Jr. get any minutes? Probably not. All right. Subscribe and rate us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Email us at doubledribblebucks@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at PodDDB. Until next time, go Bucks.
Go Bucks.